Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're jumping into the indie thriller Mr. Franklin, which is this really chaotic, brutal story. And right away, it throws you into a world that has absolutely no time for heroes. Right out of the gate, the movie tells you what it's all about. With just this one line, barked at a teenager who's trying to stop a kidnapping, we get it. In this world, being a hero, that doesn't just get you ignored, it gets you hurt. And that really sets up the whole story, doesn't it? What do you do when a hero is exactly what's needed, but the world around you just violently rejects the very idea of one? Let's break down how this film answers that, starting with Act 1. So Act 1 does something really smart. It introduces two totally different groups of people who are on this inevitable collision course. And all of this is happening in a town that's already on edge. You can hear it on the radio in the background. There are girls who have gone missing. On one hand, you've got these teenagers. What's their motivation? Pure boredom. Their entire plan is, and I'm quoting here, let's go fuck around with Mr. Frank. They're completely clueless. Then, on the other side, you've got this crew of criminals. They're all about greed, and they're planning a kidnapping, but they are just a mess of aggression and total disorganization. And what's so interesting is how fast the movie shows you just how incompetent these criminals are. They're arguing because someone's late, and they're literally talking about double-crossing each other for a bigger payday. This isn't some slick professional operation. No, this is a powder keg just waiting for a match, and that becomes super important later. So this is where it all goes wrong. These two worlds are about to crash into each other, and it's the teenager's dumb curiosity that lights the fuse. The setup here is classic horror movie 101. First, you have the dare to trespass on his property. Then they get caught by Mr. Franklin, who just yells, "Damn kids, get the hell out of here." So you think, okay, he's just a grumpy old guy. That little moment of relief makes what happens next, Whitley's sudden, violent kidnapping, hit so much harder. And this moment, man, this is where the stakes get real. Fast. Whitley's friend tries to step up, be the hero, and one of the kidnappers just shuts him down with this chilling line. The message couldn't be clearer. There is no negotiating here. There is only violence. This shoves us right into Act 2. This is where the story has to drag its most unlikely character out of the shadows and straight into the center of this whole mess. So before we really meet Mr. Franklin, we hear all about him through town gossip, and the stories are all over the place. Is he just some old guy? Is he the local boogeyman who keeps people in his basement? Or is he just some harmless, crazy dude? The film builds up this myth around him, which makes what he actually does so much more powerful. So when Whitley's friend comes running back, totally frantic and begging for help, what does Mr. Franklin do? He completely dismisses him. This line is the perfect reluctant hero moment. He has zero desire to get involved. He just wants to be left alone. But here it is. This is the moment everything pivots. The kid's desperate plea, stressing that there was a gun involved, that finally seems to break through. And Franklin's response, "You have my word?" That's not just a casual reassurance. That's a solemn vow that kicks the entire second act into high gear. All right, Act 3, the hunt is officially on. And it all leads to this brutal, methodical showdown, where Franklin just dismantles this whole crew in their own backyard, the woods. This part is just ice cold. Franklin doesn't storm in with guns blazing. No, he quietly takes out one of the criminals, picks up his radio, and delivers this simple, chilling message to the others. He's not just hunting them, he's turning their own tech against them, using it as a weapon of psychological terror. So you can just picture this whole climax unfolding like a well-oiled machine of terror. First, Franklin gets on the radio and calls them what they are. Then he takes out their scout, a guy named Scope. And just like that, all their tough guy bravado just crumbles into pure panic. It all builds to this final face-off where the leader's last words tell you everything. He's not sorry for what he did, he's just mad that somebody got in his way. And this line, this tells you everything you need to know about Franklin's code. He's not just some mindless killer. He gets the last guy, the survivor, and gives him a choice. See, for Franklin, it's not just about violence. It's about consequences. It's about a very brutal, very immediate kind of justice. So the fighting's over. But the story isn't. Now we get to the fallout, where the movie starts asking some really tough questions about what justice even means. So if you look at the final scoreboard here, the resolution is, well, it's messy.
Whitley is safe, which is great, but she and her friends are definitely traumatized. The criminal crew? Wiped out, except for that one guy Franklin lets go. And Mr. Franklin himself? He just melts back into the woods. A total mystery.
And then, right on cue, after all the dust has settled, who finally shows up? The police. They get to this scene of absolute carnage and ask who's responsible. The very question that we, the audience, now know the answer to. It just hammers home this core idea. The system wasn't here to solve the problem, it was just here to clean up the mess.
But this is the twist that reframes the whole movie. In his final chat with the survivor, we learn Franklin's real motivation. He starts asking about the other girls, about the buyer, and you realize, oh, this was never just about saving Whitley. This was about something much, much bigger. He's been fighting this network for a long time.
Ultimately, this is the question Mr. Franklin just leaves hanging in the air for you to chew on. It paints this picture where the official systems are completely useless, and the only thing that actually works is one man's personal, brutal war. It forces you right into that uncomfortable gray area between a hero, a vigilante, and a monster. And it leaves it up to you to decide who gets to define what justice really is.